Do you hear that? The crickets are come. Okay, so much of the MBTI videos I've done, if not, all of them I think, have been sort of breaking down and deconstructing types and stereotypes and, just how it's treated, right, by casual people, whatever, casual enthusiasts and, people who are really involved. This, though, is one I don't mind saying is just kind of like, I don't know, it's just sort of always been there for me since I've been into type. I always kind of feel bad for feeler guys and thinker women. It's not like a thing where, I'm conversing with a dominant or auxiliary feeler guy or a dominant or auxiliary thinking woman, and I'm just going, they don't realize how pathetic they are. It's just more in the sense that, they're always sort of acting against what's natural to them is not natural to sort of the way the world just works, right? The idea is that women are more sensitive and guys are more, obviously masculine, but it's like they have a way they conduct themselves, and it's, it's manly or it's strong, it's, very maybe forthright, but you're solid build, right? Whereas a lot of feeler guys, while they don't come off as effeminate necessarily, they maybe it's just really nice. Let's start with the girls first. I've known multiple dominant or auxiliary thinking girls, and they often have a tendency to come off as being really cold, right? There was one girl I worked with. I was being told about her. I was told a story about her before I met her, and it had to do with her freaking out on these guys that they ate her food or something. I can't remember what it was. You don't ever mess with somebody's food anyway. Like a total overreaction of something that would have been frustrating, but not much more than that, where she freaked out on it. And I thought, I bet when I meet her, she'll be okay. Like, it's going to be one of those things where I meet her and I think, like, oh, I kind of have a tough time seeing her do that. No, when I met her, I was like, okay, yeah, I could see her freaking out on somebody over this. And it's not that all, dominant or auxiliary thinking women have a temper. It's just that, there is a sort of like more rigidness to their demeanor, whereas you would normally expect something a little softer. That's extroverted thinking women. Introverted thinking women, it seems more like they're sort of detached in a way where it kind of comes off like the way they're acting, they're being intentionally cold or they're being intentionally distant, which is not the case at all. Obviously, that's just sort of introverted thinking as it is. But it doesn't set a good precedent for people, and they often tend to think, yeah, she's okay, but she's just kind of weird. It's like it's completely unfair for it to be that way, like toward that person, given that they're not doing that on purpose. But at the same time, it's also understandable. It's the world we live in.
Why you gotta be such a bitch? Hey.
But now I recognize that it's not so much of her being that way as much as it is the way that I would expect a person to normally act. So maybe it's a fault, in that sense, it's a fault on both sides. But feeling guys, on average, it just seems to be there is a chip on their shoulder. Feeling, introverted feeling or extroverted feeling. It just always seems like they're trying to sort of push this masculinity that doesn't need to be pushed. And so, in fear of possibly coming off as inferior or weak in some way, they sort of expose their weakness just by trying to show you how strong they are, right? So, introverted feeling guys normally tend to be a little more snarky or bitter, to where it turns into this kind of mopiness, or that's what I interpret it as. Whereas extroverted feeling guys, it's like they want to show, I'm mad now, you can't stop me. And again, between introverted feeling and extroverted feeling, all of it seems like it's just trying to push this image of, I'm not somebody you want to mess with, And that can be guys all over the place, across the board, guys. It's like, you want to be known as tough, you want to be known as somebody that nobody else wants to mess with. But when it comes to feeler guys, I notice they have a tendency to push it toward the surface, to where it doesn't really seem like, ooh, don't mess with that guy. It seems like, oh, nobody wiped baby's butt today, you just walking around with a rash. I've gotten before me or the thinking guys that I know will be known in one way or another, from your girlfriends or your sisters or just whoever. They don't have to be female. You'll get that you're cold, or you'll get that's like, why do you have to be such a jerk? And that's when it hits you like, I've been being a jerk. What are you talking about? I know I didn't go to Timmy's 6th birthday party, but I just thought, he's 6, he doesn't care, he's getting present, whatever. Whereas with the feeler guys, it seems more direct, it seems more intentional. It's like when they're being a jerk, they know that they're being a jerk. When they're being cold or whatever, I feel like I have a whole thing I could do on INFP guys specifically. INTJ girl I knew, and this is just INTJ's like in general, I think the unhealthier aspects, but it's like she wanted to win every conversation. Now notice I didn't say argument, debate. She wanted to win every conversation, to where it was like dealing with her was just kind of like, it was just a drain, because it's like things, you would make a comment about somebody on the TV and she would somehow try to turn it into an insecurity that you had, to where it was like, what are you talking about? Are you defending a cartoon character on TV? Like, are you defending them by insulting me? Like, what is this? Now that's not something to be attributed to all INTJ women, the 9 of you that are out there. But with the guys, they often, again, with the feeler guys, they want to make sure to let you know. They don't want to be taken advantage of. You're not gonna. I was talking to a friend before, we were having a disagreement, and it didn't take long for him to scream at me that he wasn't afraid of me. And it was like, huh? It reminds me of that scene in episode 3 where Obi-Wan and Anakin are arguing, and been a while since I brought up episode 3 to relate it to anything, but it doesn't take long for Anakin to tell Obi-Wan,
Don't make me kill you.
and it's just like, geez, how long, you've known this guy since you were like 9, all of a sudden it's just like, I'm gonna have to kill you, Obi-Wan. You're making me do this. I went through all of this because I was just saying, like, I recognize the struggle. It is something for me. Again, I think it would be difficult, because while I naturally go against certain concepts and norms that life just sort of has placed, in every which direction that you sort of have to dodge, that is something. Thinking women and feeling guys, for lack of better phrasing, that's something that, hats off to you, man. Keep going at it. I had a point ultimately that I was going to end this on, but we'll just leave it at this.